Yo, what's going on, you guys, and welcome back to the Anime Plus podcast. This is your podcast for everything anime and anime related. If this is your first time here, I'm your co-host Ray, and I'm with my other co-host Owen. Owen, say what's up.
What's up? What's going on?
All right, yo, Owen, we got a pretty good one today. Basically, I was going through the internet and I found an article that lists the top 10 anime characters that basically carry their shows. All these characters aren't your number one main character. Obviously, some of them are like a second or third main character, but none of these are the main character. And they carry the show. So we're gonna go through this list, and I'll leave a link in the description so you guys can check out this article for yourself. Shout out to the guy that wrote it. But we're gonna go through the list. There are some anime on here that I know me and you both don't know, so we'll gloss through those. But we do have honorable mentions that me and you put together, so that way we can actually kind of expand on the list. But yeah, Owen, you want to get started?
Yeah, let's get right into it.
All right, so coming in at number 10 as an anime character who basically carried their show, it's Marin Kitagawa from My Dress Up Darling.
Yeah, okay. So I've never heard of Myron.
Mm-hmm.
I know Myron from a different type of podcast, not an anime though. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, just so do you know which anime this is from or
Yeah. So it's from My Dress Up Darling, and if I'm not wrong, last year had a lot of buzz behind it. I don't know the synopsis like 100%, like the story behind it, but I know something about one of the main characters wants to become like a craftsman type of person, where he's working on like clothing and stuff like that. And she's just obviously like a good looking person, and she's into cosplaying. So I think the two of them collab to come up with like a cosplaying outfit, but she would be like the 1B, you know what I mean? So she's not the main character. The main character is the guy. But she's like the 1B. So that's as much as I know. But I guess she carried the show.
yeah. I mean that that gives to show it's not always the main character that carries the show. Sometimes it's the characters that look better a bit in certain situations. I don't know if this
Yeah.
is I'm assuming this is not a shonen. That really doesn't happen in shonen.
Hmm.
But I feel like in a romantic anime or in an anime where it's not really a fighting anime, something like that can definitely happen.
But yeah, for sure, for sure. All right. I feel like we should move on to the next one. I know me,
Yep.
you both don't know too much about it, but if you guys
Yep.
do know, let us know. All right. So coming in at number 9 for an anime character that basically stole their show slash carried their show, it's Inosuke Hashibura from Demon Slayer.
I love the I love this pick, bro. You know how much I don't like Tanjiro as a character. Um, I don't like Tanjiro as a character because he's not fitting for a main character. Like, okay, he does all the stuff that a main character does, but he doesn't end off the final enemy. And I was just watching JJK over the past week, and something I
Hmm.
realized that was very different was Yuji always goes in. He's always, it doesn't matter how strong the enemy is. Yuji's always the one, kind of taking damage and finishing the fight. He evolves a lot in the fight. I know obviously Tanjiro does that, but it always seems like someone's coming in to help him. But Inosuke, he's a fire character. He's always just laughing.
Hmm.
He's like a me type of character. My man's always, full of energy,
Yeah.
just doing random shit. It's just funny. He's a funny ass character. He's a clumsy type, but yeah, he's a funny ass character. I
No, for
I I,
sure.
I like I like the show because of him. Like I definitely like the show more because of him.
Yeah, honestly, man, at first I thought he was pretty annoying, but he grew on me for sure. I mean, it got to a point where it was him and Zenitsu. They were hella annoying, but Inosuke carries his weight, and honestly, man, I feel like he adds a good little flavor to the anime. Like a little bit of a comical sense, but he's also pretty badass. You know what I mean? And I do
Yeah,
know there's a lot of fan love for him, so I'll definitely give him a respectable spot, number 9. I seem like that seems pretty fair.
yeah. I feel like Tanjiro, he doesn't have too much like a comical side at
Hmm.
all. I feel
Hmm.
like he's very straightforward. He's kind of like from My Hero, the main character of My Hero,
Yeah,
Midoriya. They
yeah,
don't
yeah.
really have any humor, but their quirkiness in a way, or their nerdiness in a way, kind of makes them humorous. But I don't really kind of like that humor. Itadori, like it's kind of like this. It's like you have the dumb main characters, and then you have the
Yeah.
semi smart main characters, and they fall into the semi smart main characters. I
Hmm.
think Itadori, like he's dumb. Like he's dumb, but he's so funny. And like in One Piece, you have Luffy, the Naruto. It's like
Yeah,
I
right,
feel like
right.
it's a trend, right? And I kind of that trend probably grew on me, and I kind of like when the main character is like that. And Inosuke kind of fills in that spot in
Hmm.
Demon Slayer perfectly.
For sure, for sure. All right, yo. Let's get into the next one. You ready?
Yep.
All right, yo. So coming in at number 8 for an anime character that basically carried their show is Mikey from Tokyo Revengers.
Mikey honestly could be the main character at this point. The dude, bro. I haven't watched the newest season fully, but I need some backstory on my dude. Like, how is the shortest man on the field just like literally killing everybody? It's honestly insane. But Mikey himself can be the main character of that show. What do you think, though?
Honestly, man, I don't know about that, but I do think that he has a pretty big cult following. I mean, he's got like a weird like dual personality where he's like super serious. And I know people like that for some reason. And then he's got that like chill, funny, like nonchalant personality. And obviously I know people love that. It is very, very difficult to kind of like understand him as a character when you break down those two different sides. I guess you can say he is like the main character. I mean, he's obviously not the main character, but he's one of the. Okay, that made no sense, but you know what I mean. Like, he's one of the most important characters in the story as the head of Toman. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, in that sense, yeah, he's very important. But I don't know if I'd say he's the main character. But a lot has to go with like a lot revolves around him. You know what I mean?
So what I think it is
Mhm.
because the main character he lacks fighting power,
Yeah,
and some people watch shows just for fighting. Fighting is a huge
yeah,
aspect in a lot of these shows because he carries a lot of the fighting scenes. It's literally him and Drake and carrying all the fighting scenes pretty
yeah,
much,
yeah, for
right?
sure.
So it's like for at least for me, you know how much I love the fighting when it comes to anime. That's
Hmm.
why I could kind of see him as the main character, but because Takemichi can't fight, that gives him such a big role in the show. Like
Right, yeah.
because the main character is someone that doesn't really normally doesn't need to rely on other characters to kind of do his bidding or do his fighting.
Hmm.
But in this scenario, Mikey is the main fighter. He is the guy. So
Yeah.
it makes sense why he carried the show, in my opinion.
No, I mean that makes sense. But yeah, I mean, I definitely do think that for sure Mikey should be on this list. Like everyone loves him and a lot of people watch just for him and Draken for sure. But yeah, I like that pick.
Yeah, Draken's also, he's Draken's a beast too. He's kind of my second favorite too,
Hmm.
definitely. But yeah, let's get into the next one.
All right, so coming in at number 7 for an anime character that basically carried the show is Kamina from Gurren Lagann. So I know me and you both haven't watched this one. I watched a little bit of this one, so I know technically he's not the main character. Although in the synopsis it's listed that him and the other guy Simon are like the two main characters. But a lot of people do like him. I know I see a lot of figures of his like pretty much everywhere, a lot of background posters. I've seen it a lot. Obviously, I can't speak on it because we haven't watched the anime, but I do know that it's a very lovable character, and I can see it being number 7 just because the sheer amount that I see him everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, I have never watched the anime, so I can't really say anything about it. But if you've heard it and you weren't kind of looking into it, that just means
Mhm.
this character is phenomenal. But I mean, I can't really give my opinion, so yeah, let's get on to the next one.
All right, yo. So coming in at number 6 for an anime character that basically carried their show, it's Kakashi from Naruto.
Yeah, I mean, people love Kakashi.
Yeah.
Kakashi, I knew about Kakashi before I even knew about before I even watched Naruto. Like
Hmm.
people talk about Kakashi so much. Um, Whenever I think about Kakashi, I think about even some people. I don't know if it's old people. I know for most people, Sasuke. When it comes to the eyes, people think of Sasuke, but I think
Yeah.
for me, just Kakashi always comes to mind. But that's because I knew about Kakashi's eyes before the story, before I even watched Naruto, and then I always connected to that. But Kakashi, he's a sensei. He's one of the star players in the show. He's strong as hell. They give a lot of backstory on him, so you get a lot of information. He's there throughout the whole show. Dude's just a deadly sick, ninja that can basically do everything, and he doesn't have any super strong powers. You know what I mean? And like compared to
Yeah.
the other Hokage, he's not
Right.
like
Right.
it's not like he has some super strong ability or power, but he's just that dude that's naturally gifted and can just fuck shit up whenever he wants.
Yeah, I feel like in Kakashi's case, he had like almost every single reason to become like a villain or a bad guy. Obviously, we know what happened with his dad. We know what happened with his best friend and Rin and his teacher. You know what I mean? Like there's so many reasons for him to be able to be a bad guy, but at the end of the day, he changed who he was as a person. He teaches teamwork and caring about your team. But like above all that, like he's serious when he needs to be, but he's also like relatable and funny when, off cam. You know what I mean? Like when things aren't serious. Like, he got his little book. He out here doing crazy shit with that. He's chilling with Mike Guy and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So overall, he is a lovable character, and at the same time, he's a badass. The one Sharingan, the copycat ninja. You know what I mean? So for sure, I could see him being on this list at number 6. Like I feel like that's a pretty good spot for him.
Yeah, I mean he's one of the most memorable characters in Naruto as a whole. Dude's just elite. I mean, you can't not love this guy. He
Yeah.
comes in clutch, carries his own weight, became Hokage, made Naruto the man he is today. Like you cannot not love this guy, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he did carry the show.
For sure. All right, yo.
Yeah.
So let's get into the next one. All right, yo. So coming in at number 5 for an anime character that basically carried their show, it's Roy Mustang from Full Metal Alchemist.
Yeah, I kind of disagree with this one. I don't even think Roy
Okay.
was that big of a part of the show. Honestly, I thought he was gonna be a bigger part of the show because he had out of all the people, like out of all the
Yeah.
characters, I think he had one of the most cool powers, even though it's
Yeah, for
very
sure.
even though it's very generic,
Hmm.
fire, just firebending basically. I feel like every anime has that, but I feel like out of all the powers in the show, it was one of the strongest powers for sure. And I feel like he just didn't get that much screen time. Like I really wanted to see more fights with him, more engagement with him. To me, it kind of just feels like he was kind of a bitchy ass dude, to be honest. It wasn't like I didn't really like the dude. I don't know. That's just I didn't really like the the anime in general. I feel like he was always a bitch towards the Elric brothers. That's why I just didn't like him.
Hmm.
But yeah, I
No,
don't
that's
think he carried
fair.
the
I
show.
mean, he gives me like Sasuke vibes. Obviously, I'm saying that because I watched Naruto before I watched this. In terms of being like one of those cool characters, quote unquote cool, and
Yeah,
he gives that vibe. You know what I mean? Which a lot of people do like that type of character. But yeah, I would say the same thing. I don't know if I would say he carried the show. Again, not that much screen time. His fights were, I mean, he had like a couple, what, like one or two fights? I can't even remember. But yeah,
exactly. Yeah, I feel
I
like he
don't,
needed more fights. Like he could have
yeah.
done more. There was more. They should have shown him off more. It's like
Mhm.
they were trying to make him like the Shanks of the show and not show him off. But then he wasn't Shanks. Like you know what I mean?
Right, right,
But
right,
yeah,
right.
I always have to connect it to One Piece. Oh my god. But yeah, let's get into the next one.
All right, so coming in at number 4 for an anime character that basically carried their show, it's Levi Ackerman from Attack on Titan.
You want to take this one? I know how much you love the show, and I know how much you love Levi.
All right, yo. So I'm not gonna deride Levi like most of the people out there do, but I will be honest. He 100% carried the show. This spot is definitely justified. A lot of people love Levi, and you'll see his merch out of any other anime characters like crazy. You'll see his merch on shirts. You see everything that you can think of. He's literally there. But I don't know what it is about him. If it's just, I don't know what it is about him. People just love him, and I
So
guess the way he fights is just completely badass. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, I
I
think
don't.
that's what it is. I think that's what captivates me. That's what gets me, and that's what I love Levi, and I like
Mhm.
him more than Aaron. And I think I'm one of those those Levi D rods.
Hey
I'm
yo.
not gonna lie, because think about it. Think about it like this, right?
Mhm.
Dude's a regular human, and Titans are scared of him. That
All right.
makes no sense. And it's not like he's like a bigger human. Dude is like 5'4". Dude comes in 5'4", all tattered up, band-aid up, and just demolishes armies. Like it does not matter who comes in his way,
Mhm.
demolished. The amount of times the Beast Titan got demolished, oh my god, it's like child's play for Levi.
Seriously.
Like just the way he fights, the way he's built, he's not
Hmm.
supposed to be doing this type of fighting, and it's honestly crazy. Like the world of Titans, it's so like the power difference is so heavy when it comes to Titans versus humans that the fact
Hmm.
that, and I'm not talking about like regular Titans, I'm talking about like the advanced Titans. Um, that even the regular Titans too, but the advanced Titans, their strength compared to a regular Titan, a regular human, it's literally 0 to 100. Like you cannot compare those two at all. It's like apples and oranges. And then you get Levi here, and he's just he can actually do damage to these guys, and it's actually insane.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's so much to like about him. A lot of these characters that just kind of thinking about it that are on this list, they have that supposedly badass slash cool characteristic about him. But he's also got something that some of these characters also have, and that's like that off screen time. I don't know what else to call it, but when he's not fighting, he has a little bit of personality to him. He's got like OCD, he cleans. People like that stuff, you know what I mean? Like a soft side. So obviously, Kakashi's was reading that book and always being late, stuff like that. And I guess that's his side, you know what I mean? So I feel like that's just a good reason for people to love him as a character because there's more to him other than being a badass.
Yeah, I feel like he kind of messes around. He doesn't mess around, but he's never like he's a very he takes everything lightly. But that's
Yeah,
because he knows his ability. But the way he takes things lightly, during like the political decisions and all that,
yeah,
it's
for
kind of
sure.
it's kind of funny, and he just knows that he's badass, so he'll just get through it. So it doesn't really matter to him.
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah,
All
Levi
right.
did carry that show for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a great show. Obviously all the characters did their part, but Levi, he's one character to remember. And you're right, everyone wears his merch, and it's for good reason. The dude's 5'4", and he takes out things that are 54. So yeah, it's kind of crazy.
All right, yo. So let's get into the next one. All right. So coming in at number three for an anime character that basically carried their show, it's Bakugo from My Hero Academia. What are
Okay.
your thoughts on that?
I don't really agree with this at all.
Okay.
Especially in this newest season. I
Hmm.
think it was so focused on Midoriya. We barely got any Bakugo. We barely got anyone
Yeah.
because I know it was because it was a character development arc. It was his revenge style thing. So they did really focus on him. Even then, I think Bakugo gets as much screen time as probably every single one of the other characters. I know Bakugo has a very strong connection to Midoriya, but and because they've been so-called rivals and fake friends since childhood. But I think
Hmm.
he gets as much screen time as Todoroki. We are getting so much more backstory of Todoroki. Honestly, I'd rather put Todoroki in there instead of Bakugo
Yeah.
because
So
yeah,
sorry to cut you off. I was gonna say I feel like there's too many like side characters in My Hero. Like there's All Might, there's Endeavor, there's Todoroki, there's Bakugo. There's too many of these side characters that it feels unevenly distributed. You know what I mean? To have him at number three is just, I don't know. I feel like it's pretty high on the list.
yeah, I feel like if anything, I would rather put Todoroki up there because we're getting his backstory, we're getting his story with the family. Right now, it's focusing a lot on his brother Dabi. Everything's kind of focused towards either Midoriya or Todoroki because Endeavor is the number one hero now. So the press is all on their family, and they've been
Yeah,
highlighting their family heavily. I feel like I don't know anything about Bakugo's family, his childhood.
yeah,
I know he was just like a mean kid, or like he was a so-called mean kid, fake mean type thing. But it's like he's a very normal, like rival kind of. They don't
a
really
little
go
bit.
in
Yeah,
depth. They don't really go in depth with him.
yeah,
They went really in depth with Todoroki's character. So if anything, in my personal opinion, I would put Todoroki as the one that carried the show in
hmm,
terms of if I were to pick someone. If anything, I think Midoriya just they focus heavily on Midoriya, so it's not even like anyone carries that show besides Midoriya. But if I were to pick someone, it would definitely be Todoroki.
yeah. Honestly, man, if I'm being honest, like it's definitely a tough situation with those two. I feel like they're neck and neck. I'm literally looking up like character polls for this, popularity polls, and actually, believe it or not, Bakugo is number one, and then it's Midoriya, then it's Todoroki.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
yeah. It's interesting, man. I feel like all three of those are kind of neck and neck, if I have to be honest. But yeah, no, it's definitely interesting. Again, I would have him lower on the list. I will say though, really quickly, I feel like it's recency bias for what you were talking about because recently they've been talking a lot about Todoroki, but earlier in the season they were had a lot to do with Bakugo. Obviously, him trying to be the undisputed number one, his character development and whatnot. So I don't know, man. It's definitely a tough spot for him. But again, I feel like we both can agree that he shouldn't be on this list, or at least he shouldn't be this high on the list.
Yeah, I mean it could be definitely recency bias, but I just don't
Mhm.
remember like Todoroki, I mean Bakugo getting that much, backstory compared to Todoroki. I know he was
Yeah.
the one that, got the information that knew that he had the all for one power, and he's always been there for Midoriya and whatnot. But I think that's just his role as a character. I don't think
Yeah.
like they could have made him a better rival. That's just my opinion. But I'm not that big of a My Hero fan. Maybe, but maybe Issa can tell us, who's the more favorite, why Bakugo's the more favorite character since he watches. He's a cult follower of My Hero,
Yeah,
unlike
for
me.
sure.
So I don't get the appeal for Bakugo like that, but maybe he will.
It's actually a pretty good poll question. We might have to do that later on. But yeah, let's hop into the next one. You ready?
Yep.
All right, so coming in at number two for an anime character that basically carried their show, it's Satoru Gojo from JJK.
Yeah. I mean, Gojo's just a demon. He's the strongest sorcerer out there.
Mm,
We don't get at too much screen time of his fighting at all. He's kind of like the Shanks of the show,
mhm,
where he doesn't get that much screen time, but we know he's a badass. We saw a tiny extent of his power, and it was crazy. It was
Well,
just his
you
dope.
just to
Yeah,
preface, you've only watched season one. You haven't watched the newest
yeah.
season.
I have
So
now. I have not watched the newest season, so I can't
yeah,
say.
yeah.
Yeah, but even in season one, bro, him being basically being Itadori Sensei, and
Mhm,
just kind of guiding him through, he's that lovable character because he's goofy. First of all, the dude's goofy, and you love goofy strong people. Just like I was
mhm,
saying before, like Luffy, Naruto, Bleach, less of Bleach, but probably DBZ, where like the main characters are kind of dumb but they're funny. It's the
mhm.
same thing with Itadori. He's kind of dumb but he's funny, but it also stems from um um Satoru. Did I say his last name? Gojo. Um,
Honestly, though, I kind of disagree with you, man.
I feel like he's
I,
kind of a sensei type.
yeah, yeah, no, for sure. I mean, he to me, he's
Like,
kind of like a Kakashi 2.0. You know what I mean?
yeah. But
But
yeah.
where I disagree is I don't think
Yeah.
he's like dumb. I feel like he's just cocky. You know what I mean?
Not dumb. Okay, not dumb. I worded that wrong. He's playful as hell. Like he'll go up to the principal and be like, get your ass up or else I'll kill you. Or like,
Yeah, yeah. He's
he
cocky as shit. Like he
yeah,
knows no one can do shit to him. You know what I mean?
yeah, okay. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, he's cocky as hell. The dude's cockiness is like so funny and so playful
Yeah,
because he does not give a fuck because no one can beat him. It does not matter. Like
right.
he's just that OP. He's just that OP that he knows no one can touch him.
You know what's
He'll
crazy though?
What's up?
Not to spoil it for you, and I know you haven't watched season two yet, but basically the first few episodes are like a flashback of when he was in high school, like when he was in JJK, like he was enrolled
Oh,
in that,
nice. Okay.
and he's still cocky as hell back then too. It's actually crazy.
Oh shit, I gotta watch that. I gotta watch that. I
Yeah.
mean, Gojo is just like the Levi. He's just the dude that just can at any time be the winning
Mm.
force of the team. So, I mean, that's why I love him. And I know that's why a lot of people love him. I feel like he's just the second most lovable character compared to, like, I don't really like Fushiguro, or I forgot his
Yeah,
name, but yeah,
yeah.
I don't really like him because he's kind of the laid back, thinks he's cool, not really even on Itadori's level, kind of, then why are you acting that hard when you're really not type of dude. But yeah, and I don't like the girl. She's okay, but she's just, she's a straight up side character.
Yeah, she's like an NPC.
Yeah, Gojo kind of carries, like, they literally have to make barriers for anti-Gojo barriers. Like, this is kind of
Right,
crazy. Like, he's just that deadly.
for sure. All right. Are you ready to get into number one?
Yeah, let's get right into it.
All right, so just keep in mind before we get into this, this is this person that wrote the article's opinion. Obviously, we don't know all of these anime, and I don't know what this person was trying to accomplish here, but let's get into number one. So number one for an anime character that basically carried their show, it's the narrator in Kaguya-sama Love is War. So that's a very interesting pick. That the dude picked the narrator to be the person that or the character that carried the show. That's pretty wild.
Basically, what he's saying is the characters are so shit that the narrator carries the show. That's what I'm getting. Like, what's going on here? Do you know what Sailor or what this thing's about? Or
Yeah, so I I have heard of it before, and I could be completely wrong, but as much as I know about it, um, there's like a guy who had like he runs a school a little bit, you know what I mean? It's like kind of like a turf war, but he's in love with the girl, and she runs kind of the school too, you know what I mean? Um, and she likes the
okay,
guy, you know what I mean? So I think if I'm not wrong, it's like a rom com, you know what I mean? So it's like a lot like the dynamic is them liking each other, you know what I mean? So I guess maybe the narrator has a lot of either comedy or funny moments. I don't know. I'm just guessing to be honest.
yeah, I mean, this was definitely comedy on his part. I don't think maybe he was serious, maybe
Yeah.
he wasn't. This was definitely a fun take though. Funny take. I don't know if it's number one worthy, but
Hmm.
it's all this guy's opinion. So gotta respect it. He made this whole
Hmm.
articles, and other than that, I think it was a pretty decent article.
Yeah. So do you want to get into your honorable mentions?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So for my number one honorable mention, I have Nagi from Blue Lock. I think
Good pick.
Nagi, I think Blue Lock. So we talked about this in earlier pods. Blue
Hmm.
Lock does this so well where they get the side characters like their own kind of story and plot, but they
Hmm.
don't make it very repetitive and boring. They kind of make everyone have their own route and end up at the same place, but everyone has their own kind of journey. And we got a lot of Nagi's journey. Nagi was a partner of the main character for a very long time. He kind of taught him a lot. Was there for a lot of his hard moments too. And Nagi was he's again one of those Levi type badass characters that just
Hmm.
he's a demon. He learned so fast. He wasn't even playing soccer before he got into Blue Lock. He was playing for like what 6 months. And he's already one of the best strikers in the world. So
Hmm.
Nagi's just that talented, crazy dude that can just turn a game around. And that's probably
Facts.
why I love him as a character. And I think he can definitely carry the show and carry the team.
For sure. I mean, also with that, there's a lot of good characters in Blue Lock, but yeah, I think Nagi definitely is up there for sure. All right, so let me give one of my honorable mentions. I guess we'll just go back and forth. Cool.
Let's get it.
All right, so I got Vegeta from Dragon Ball. And I know a lot of people do love Vegeta too. I feel like it's because he's more relatable than Goku. Goku's like a natural born fighter. Obviously, he had to go through some shit and whatnot, but he's the main character. Obviously, he's gonna have plot armor. He's gonna have a lot of things going in his way. I feel like Vegeta has a lot of roadblocks, and I feel like that's really relatable to anyone. Obviously, there's always going to be someone better at you at something, and I feel like Vegeta's in that position. And overall, he's a badass. You know, he firstly he's got a temper. People love that shit. He's cooler than Goku, in my opinion, and he's been through a lot of shit. So I feel like he's a relatable character. He's more badass, and yeah, I feel like more people like him than they do Goku. So that would be one of my picks.
No, it's a fire pick. I haven't personally watched Dragon Ball like that, so I can't even, give my
Mhm.
opinion. But I know, comparing it to like other anime, it's like you don't always like that guy that can just excel at everything. The guy
Yeah.
that gets handed everything. I think it goes in the same way where I think of Yuno and Asta, where Asta has to
Mhm.
kind of do
Yeah.
everything, and he has so much obstacles in his path to get to the Wizard King, and then throughout the story we see like has the four leaf clover book, and then he gets the mythical spirit, and then we find out he's son of a prince. He
Yeah.
just keeps getting upgraded, and I think that's kind of what you're getting at with the whole Goku and Vegeta situation.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean,
Exactly. Yep.
I haven't watched the show, but yeah, I definitely don't like characters that just get handed everything to.
Yeah. All right. So do you want to give one of yours?
Yeah, but for my next honorable mention, it's another white haired character, and I feel like everybody loves white haired characters. Gojo, Nagi, and with this one, I'm picking Hunter x Hunter from Killua from Hunter x Hunter.
Okay.
He's a badass. He's the right, not the right hand of Gon. He's his own separate character, but they're the duo. He's the yin
Hmm.
to the yang. Um, Dude's whole family is just killers, straight killers.
Insane, bro.
You can't not love this character. He's playful, he's serious when it counts, and he provides so much value when it comes to fighting and even just character development with Gon. He's that, like, he's literally the yin to the yang of Gon, and some people would like Gon better, some people like Killua better, but I'm definitely on Team Killua.
Yeah, I mean, Kilo is a badass in this situation. So again, a common theme that we had for this particular episode is a lot of these characters are badasses slash cool. So honestly, man, I like it.
Yeah, I mean this theme, it's coming over and over again, but we all love those badass characters like Zoro, Levi, Killua. It's
Mm,
always the second
yeah,
guy. It's always the second guy, but he is there. You know what it is?
carry
It's
the show.
also, yeah, it's
He's there
also
to
like
carry the show, man. Yeah,
literally, and it's like the loyalty that they bring.
yeah,
I
yeah,
think the loyalty that a lot of these characters bring just attracts you so much more to the character itself.
yeah, for
But yeah,
sure.
what's your next honorable mention?
All right, my next one is Ella from Death Note.
Oh, from Death Note. That's a fire pick. But
Yeah.
why do you think so?
So honestly, man, obviously the main character is Light, but Light has a lot of ethical dilemmas. Obviously, technically, if you want to look at it from the ethical standpoint, L is a good guy, even though technically he's the antagonist. Whatever, man. You get the point. But nonetheless, everyone really liked his character, me included. Like he was super smart. He finessed hella people. He solved so many cases. He was weird but funny and cool at the same time. You know what I mean? Like the way he would sit was just weird, but also was like unique to him. And then the way he really put together and kind of sacrificed himself to figure out like light was Kira, and on top of that, like figure out something that's not even possible is like to basically solve the case for something that is not even possible, which is absolutely insane. So I feel like L is definitely a good choice here for me.
I mean, L definitely did not take that. I mean, he physically took the L, but um, the dude was a straight W in the show.
Yeah,
He was the best antagonist you could probably, he was the best version. He was the best opposite of Light. He
yeah,
was the he was he. I feel like a lot of this is like the yin and the yang, like the perfect opposite to the main character.
yeah.
The complementary character is always so good.
Mhm.
He's yeah. His intelligence, everything about him, like how the hell did he figure out that there was a death book? It's something that's supernatural and not even part of this world,
Mhm.
but he somehow figured that out. And yeah, I mean, L, super like lovable character and one of my favorite characters in anime in general, for sure.
Mhm. For sure.
But yeah, let me get into my last and final nominee, and I
Mhm.
have Pikachu from Pokemon. My man has been carrying Ash since for the past 25 years, or however long Pokemon's been going on. My Ash has never lost Pikachu. Pikachu's been part of the show since the beginning. Even some people don't even know who Ash is, and they'll know who Pikachu is. Like, I feel like there's definitely more people that know what Pikachu and who Pikachu is rather than Ash. What do you think?
Yeah, honestly, that's big facts. I mean, he's the mascot of Pokemon, not Ash. And obviously, this is a little bit controversial, but I mean Pikachu. I honestly no fuck it. He is the mascot of Pokemon, so I think you're right, man.
No, he's the mascot of Pokemon, and he's been carrying Ash in a backpack since the first league. So, you know, first he was getting electric. First he was electrocuting my boy Ash, and then he started
Uh-huh.
carrying him. So,
Right.
I mean, Pikachu's the best right hand man to ever live, and he's been carrying the Pokemon franchise and Ash since the beginning of time. So yeah.
That's fair. No, it's a good one. All right, so for my last and final one, I have Taiju from Doctor Stone. I feel like he's a very good compliment to again, this I feel like that's another theme that we're coming up with, like a compliment to the main character. He's the opposite of Senku, where he's strong physically, but weak mentally. But I feel like at the same time, he's a very lovable character. You know, just the shit that he does, the way he thinks, all that stuff that he does on the side, from carrying rocks to all that small stuff. You know what I mean? Like the way he does it is very it's very chill. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people like it. So I would say that he is definitely up there. You know, Chrome is a very close second to me. Again from Doctor Stone, but I feel like Taiju definitely carried the show in a comedic standpoint, or
Yeah,
at the very
yeah,
least. You know what I mean?
definitely a comedic standpoint. It always comes, I think, again, the same theme is coming where we have the smarter, or
Hmm.
less playful main characters. Usually, it's the more intelligent main characters that lack a bit of the humor, and they kind of latch the humor onto a side
Yeah.
character. Just like Inosuke, I think Inosuke plays the same part as
Yeah.
Taju plays, and we love those type of characters, and Taju does not disappoint for sure.
Yeah. 100%. All right, yo. I feel like that's a pretty good list for this episode. Again, I'll leave a link in the description to this article. Shout out to the author that came up with this article. It was a pretty good idea. It's Alexandra Locke. But yeah, that's gonna be it for this episode. I mean, we want you guys to give your guys' feedback on which anime characters you think carry this show. So join our Discord, let us know, or hit us up on Instagram, DM us. Just let us know. But yeah, it's gonna be it for this episode. We'll catch you guys on the next episode of Anime Plus. Peace.
Peace.